Hello there, I'm the Common Sense Guy, and this is going to be a little bit of a different kind of format, I suppose, but not particularly too much different, to be fair. It's going to be a bit of a rant video, but I am going to be heavily sourcing this video as well for most of the stuff that I actually say. For everything that I don't actually source in this video, you can quite easily Google it, so please feel free to. This is going to be a ranting video about the Florida shooting. Now, a lot of people would be thinking, well, how comes it's taking you so long to come out and do this? Because I wanted to see what was going to happen. I wanted to see how this was going to be portrayed. I wanted to see how the media were going to sort out what they think and what their narrative was going to be. Now that they have done that, I want to have a look. I want to have a little rant. I want to have a little bit of a tirade about what's going on. Now, I may not be an American, but I am for free speech, and I am for the Second Amendment. I do believe that we should bear arms. I do believe that we should be able to defend ourselves against tyranny. These are the things that I do agree with. Now, let's get into the actual video, and I can actually start irating properly, I suppose. First of all, I'd just like to give my condolences and to let people know I am actually thinking of the people and the victims that have actually had this happen to them. And I'm sorry that it's actually happened to you. And I'm sorry that it's affected your lives so much as it has done. Especially everybody at the Missouri Stoneman Douglas High School, MSD. Now, with that being said, I'd just like to get into this video and actually talk about what some of these issues actually are and what they're actually doing at this moment in time. And how tragedies like this need to stop, but at the same time we need to understand the actual reasons why these tragedies are actually happening. Now, let's actually get into the video, shall we? First of all, I just wanted to clarify the actual story of what's actually happened, what's supposedly have happened, should I say. I'm going to use the BBC, not because I like the BBC, but because I want to use them as most people know that they would have a agenda, so to speak, to make sure that they don't peddle the idea of guns. So their bias will be towards getting rid of guns. So, first of all, I want to go through the story, and I just want to, I suppose, refresh would be the correct word, but at the same time, I know that it doesn't need to be a refresh point or anything, but just for the clarity of video for people in the future watching this, they can understand the context of what's going on. So, as you can see at the top there, title, Florida shooting, FBI and teachers warned about, and I'm not going to say his name. The FBI has launched a review over its handling of a warning about teenager accused of carrying out Wednesday's school shooting in Florida. The gunman, 19, has appeared in court charged with premeditated murder with 17 people killed. This is the deadliest US school shooting since 2012. Very interesting, that point. Now, the reason why I say that is very interesting is because now they know it is premeditated murder, but we're going to get into the actual reasons why it was premeditated murder and why they know it was premeditated murder. The gunman reportedly commented on a YouTube post last year that he would be a professional school shooter. The FBI admitted that a user had alerted authorities to the post. So, first of all, the FBI was alerted to the mental disabilities, or should we say, disturbances, that the gunman actually has. The point of actually having a mental illness. Teachers were also warned about Mr. Cruz, who was not allowed on campus with a backpack US media report. Now, that is a very, very interesting point. I wonder why he wasn't allowed to have a backpack on campus when he's at school. How else is he supposed to carry his books into school? Now, this is not a point of me trying to say, oh, he's ostracized. This is a reason for it, which is a possibility. It might be. But that's not what my argument is. My argument is that the teachers in the school knew that there was a potential problem with this gunman, to the point where they banned him from bringing in a backpack because they did not know what he was going to conceal in the backpack. That in itself suggests that maybe they should have alerted the authorities beforehand. I'm just trying to say that this is a point that has been happening for a very long time. I know that there are a lot of people that reported him. There's lots of things that happened at school where he was. There's lots of things that happened with the police, to the point where I think that there was 36 police officers that used to go to his address. Sorry, not 36 police officers. 36 times police officers went to Mr. Cruz's place of abode. And I'm very, very annoyed at this. This is the point that really, really annoys me. See, this is the point that really gets me. People on the left, or the Democrats, or people against guns in general, will generally say, we need more restrictions, we need more laws, we need more this, we need more that. But, as my friend the Yogi would always say, criminals don't pay attention to the laws. The laws are not going to help you in this situation. If somebody wants to blow something up, they will go and blow it up. If somebody wants to go and shoot a school up, they will go and shoot a school up. If somebody can't get guns, they will get knives. A lot of people always hold up Japan as this amazing place where no school shootings happen. No. But school stabbings happen. To the point where the last school stabbing was, I believe, over 20. Now, that's amazing that a school stabbing would go that far and have that many people die. But yet, we don't say ban the knives, do we? The reason why we say ban the guns is because we want to... I don't know, to be honest, because I can't get into this little frame of mind, to be honest. I can't get into it. We should ban the guns. No, why don't we look at the person that's at the end of the gun that's pulling the fucking trigger? Why don't we have a look at them and find out the reasons why they seem to be doing this? People always go, oh, school shootings seem to be increasing. Well, they haven't really been increasing, but you could argue that the point of the reason why they've been increasing is because of mental illnesses. The fact that the school, the state, and everything else doesn't seem to actually do what it's supposed to fucking do. And to me, that's the point where I really get annoyed with these people that want to get rid of guns, that want to get rid of whatever they feel is going to hurt them. The reasons why they want to increase statehood and everything else like that. Now, I have no problems with government. I'm not the same as other people where I want anarcho-capitalism and I don't want government and things like that. I do like government. When it works well. It works better when it's smaller, as in a smaller government and at local levels and things like that. I will agree with that. But at the same time, this is the reasons why I don't like government. I don't like state. Because you can put as many laws down as you want and people can have this illusion, and it is just an illusion, of being safe. That's not going to stop terrorists from bombing you. That's not going to stop 4 people with fucking box cutters taking over a plane and ramming it into the World Trade Organization, is it? It's also not going to stop people from trying to attack the Pentagon with the same box cutters, is it either? Now, why am I saying things like this? Because people want the state to take over. People want the state to be able to block people and stop people from doing things. Fine, okay, let me go down this road then. Say that they do block guns. Say that they do stop things from happening. How are they going to respond to a person that's still got a gun, that still wants to go home and shoot up a school? How are they actually going to be able to stop things? Because I'll tell you for why. Not one, but 4 sheriff's deputies hid behind cars instead of storming Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School during last week's school shooting. According to a new report, Sources from Coral Springs Police Department tell CNN that when officers arrived on the scene, they were shocked to find 3 Brownwood County Sheriff's deputies behind their cars with their weapons drawn. Now, this is very, very bad for the police department in itself. Now, I want to show you what the Sheriff Israel has actually said in defense of these brave men. These brave men. I just wanted to show you what he actually says. So, in response, Israel said Coral Spring cops first showed up after confessed gunmen had left the school. So after, the sheriff, in comments to Miami Herald, seemed to suggest even had these 3 deputies charged into Building 12 of Douglas High School, it would have been too late anyway. Then just let that sink in just for a bit. Just let that sink in. This is the sheriff of the county of where this happened. This is the sheriff of the Parkland incident that has come out and said these 3 men to 4 men that hid behind the cars with their weapons drawn, not knowing whether it was outside, inside, or whatever excuse they want to use today. The sheriff has come out and said, well, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because by the time they got there, they actually had stopped shooting and people had already have died the most. What about people that hadn't have died? What about people that weren't, at that point in time, fatally wounded? You could have done something to help them. You could have helped them in general. But no, you're too much of a fucking coward as being a police officer to actually charge him with your weapon drawn and protect the most vulnerable people of our communities. There's people in schools, children in schools. And this is the point that I wanted to drive home to every sort of libtard that wants to speak to me about, we need gun reform. So you want to take the guns away from people that can actually fucking defend themselves, i.e. put a security guard in there that actually has armed training, for instance, that knows the school inside and out, that's actually going to be able to go in and actually help these kids and defend these kids and actually put some fucking security on the school rather than it be an open area. But you want to take away people's guns and you want to give it to the state. You want to make sure that the state looks after you. As proven by the state at this moment in time, the state doesn't actually look after you. It doesn't actually want to look after you. If it did want to look after you, then why didn't it pick up on any of these red flags, so to say? The fact that the school had to expel Cruz a couple of times. The fact that people were moaning and children were coming across and saying that all these bad words are being said. The fact that he's threatening to come and kill people. The fact that he's threatening his ex-girlfriend's boyfriend at this point in time. Saying that I'm going to kill you. Showing him pictures of guns. And that being reported and nothing happening on that one. Through the cops and the FBI at that point in time. That should have been the moment. That should have been a watershed moment. The fact when this kid should have been brought up and put on charges, at least for threatening behaviour, to take away his guns at that point in time, because he was obviously a danger to society. That's the point that I wanted to make. These people that want to take away people's guns, the right to defend themselves, the equaliser, so to speak. I think one of my co-hosts' favourite quotes is, God did not create us equally, but Samuel Colt did. And that's the most amazing point, or Winchester, or whatever the quote is, made us equal. Because it is. The gun is the great equaliser. If I'm a 5'5", 100-pound girl, and some big man is coming at me, how am I going to fight that person off? I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to fight him off. If he really wants to do something to me, I wouldn't be able to do it. So what do? I pull out my ladies special from my handbag and I warn him first. And if he still carries on, I blow him away. That's the way that it works. But these people want to take away that right, that freedom of defence. And that's what it is. It's a freedom of defence. It's not freedom of attack. It's not persecution. It's not to be able to have people actually coming across and be able to go, oh, you spat in my cup of coffee, so I'm going to shoot you. That's not what it's for. It's not what it's for. It's for the actual point of defence. Is if somebody pulls a knife, if somebody's going to try and rape you, if somebody's going to try and mug you, and you can actually defend yourself with it. That's what it's for. It's for the defence of people. And now you've got these people going, well, we've got the state and we've got the police to be able to defend us. I would much rather have some man running across with an AR-15 to defend me and my children in that instance than the cowardly police officers that was stood and hidden behind cars when they pulled up, not doing their job. Because you have to remember, this is not just civilians that are pulled up and were having a look. This is their job, to be able to run in headstrong, to be able to defend the people that they are supposed to defend. Because that's what the police officer's job is to defend the innocent and to be able to make sure that they attend justice for people, arresting the right people, being able to go after the right people and defending people's innocence. That's what the police's job is. Not to sit around, eat donuts, and then when something happens, run, cry, and say, no, I didn't. I thought I was doing the right thing by keeping the area secure, or whatever the fuck excuse that they want to use today. My point is, on this little bit of a tirade, to be honest, is that so many people want to go, let's blame the state. Let's bring the state into it. Let's make more rules. Okay, fine. We make more rules. You take away people's guns. Say, for instance, there was a teacher that did have a gun. Just for instances and quarries and things like that. I'm not trying to say that Donald Trump's arming the teachers is the best idea. I think personally going on down the Israeli point. And no, the Israeli point isn't to just arm teachers. It's actually to make sure that the school is secure. To make sure that they have a security guard, at least one. That is with schools with over 100 people. I will link this in the description as well, so people can have a look at it. I'm not bullshitting. That this is the actual Israeli model. To be able to have any school that has over 100 pupils will have a security guard there that has a weapon. The school will make sure that it is not an open area. There's only one entrance in, there's only one entrance out. And that's where the guard is. The guard will not generally search backpacks and things like that, but will know what's going on, will have an idea of what students are bad and what students are good. Now, since they implemented this idea, I believe in 1974, I do believe that they have not had a single school shooting since. So, it's a very interesting point, isn't it? Putting private companies in there with a security guard that has a gun that's actually going to do something. I don't know. Maybe it's the right way to go. Maybe it's not the right way to go. But I tell you what's definitely not the right way to go. Taking away people's defence. Taking away the fact that if they can, they should be able to defend themselves. And that's the point in this. The fact that so many people and so many of these young kids that are now coming out and saying, oh, we should take away everybody's guns, take away the AR-15s and take away this. They would have used a handgun. They would have used a different rifle. It wouldn't have mattered. They would have used something. It was the point that the kid had a screw loose, to be blunt. But yeah, people don't want to take into consideration that. They don't want to take into consideration that it was the school and the state that found the kid and found the other kids that are in the school. This is the reason why I'm so annoyed about this, and the reason why I can't stand by, so to speak, and let other people try and debunk this and debunk that. I don't give a shit about debunking anything at this moment in time. I really don't. My point to all of this is to point out to the people that want to take away people's guns and take away the guns of the murderers and whatever. It's not a case of you're going to take away the guns of the murderers. All you're going to do is put it into the hands, or the incompetent hands, of the state to decide whether or not they want to help you today. to decide that if they get over 36 calls to go to a particular residence, that they're not going to ask the reason why. They're not going to arrest the child. They're not going to be able to pursue anything to do with the child. To the fact where the school was expelling him for erratic behaviour and not allowing that person to bring in a backpack. That in itself raises so many questions. That means that you were concealing something and bringing something to school already. That's worrying. But yet the school never brought that up or produced that to anybody or said that to anything. Now, if the school would have done that, he wouldn't have been able to have any more guns. If the police are able to do anything like that and go to his house 36 times and didn't do anything, they should have at least been able to put that on a misdemeanor so it would have stopped him from getting guns. Also as well, you have the FBI. They've obviously come out and actually said, no, we actually had some of this and we actually knew what was going on, but we didn't act on it. We weren't 100% sure. We couldn't verify it. So you're telling me that you've got people actually phoning you up, not just making a report, but phoning you up, giving you the information you need. To the point where you've got this boy himself, this mentally ill boy, and I'm not trying to defame what's happened, I'm trying to prove a point. You've got this mentally ill person that's come out and actually said to the FBI twice, I am going to shoot up a school. I am going to kill people. And hasn't had anything done to him, hasn't had his guns taken away, hasn't been arrested, hasn't been investigated. And you can honestly sit there, people, and tell me that the state is going to fucking look after you. Well, ain't you just a fucking ideologue? Aren't you just the most amazing little snowflake in the world? Let's ban it because it makes me feel better, right? Let's ban it because it makes me feel better. Well, I tell you what, I've got a lovely little story at this moment in time from Fox News. That is a man that has decided to use a chainsaw to be able to dismember his wife and separate all the parts and then leave it in a car park in Target. Should we ban chainsaws? Should we? Or should we arrest that person? I know what my point is on that one. We should ban the chainsaws because chainsaws are bad. They're bad. No, we shouldn't. We should blame the person, sort the person out. It's the same as knife crime. If people are getting stabbed like they do in my country, which is one of the highest rates of death in our country, do we ban knives? No, we don't ban knives. We stop kids from buying them for some strange fucking reason. Well, that's not going to stop a kid from picking up a kitchen knife from their own home and going out and actually stabbing someone, is it? No. Do you know what would stop kids from going out and actually, I don't know, stabbing people? It's an open question. Because it's the same thing with guns. The only way to be able to equal that type of force is to have an equalizer. And the only form of equalizer that has been invented is a gun. Am I advocating for guns rights everywhere? Yeah, I actually am, to be honest. I actually am advocating for gun rights everywhere. Simply because it is an equalizer. It is. It's as simple as that. I don't really have too much else to say on this subject, to be honest. But if anybody wants to ask me a question in the comment section, then please go ahead. If anybody wants to get in contact with me on Twitter, all of my information is down below. So please do. Same as all the sources that I've sourced and stated. Same as the Israeli laws. They will be in the description box below. My last point on this, I'm going to reiterate this last point before I do go. Is so many people keep on trying to say, we need to ban the guns. We need to let the state take control of us. The state massively failed everybody in this school. To give the idea that the state will protect you is absolutely ludicrous. Because you have the evidence in front of you. You may not want to look at it at the minute because you want to blame somebody. But when you have a clear objective point, which is the reason why we don't make legislation, why things have just happened, we need to take a clear look at things. And the state and the school is at fault at this point in time. as well as obviously the child, as well as Cruz. He is obviously responsible for everything that happened. But the reason why I say the state is also responsible is because there were so many times when this could have been avoided. There's so many times where he could have been picked up and arrested. There were so many times when he could have had his guns taken off of him because of being an actual menace to society or a threat to society. Not because I want to take your guns, but because that some people just shouldn't have guns. And this is one of them. Until that person was able to actually have mental clarification that he was able to be stable, that person should have guns again. Fair enough. I have no problems with that. When he's proven to be mentally stable and mentally fit to use one, I have no problem with that. The thing is, the state is not going to protect you. Because if it was going to protect you, it would have done something to protect you on this instance. Making laws is not going to help you. Because criminals break laws. And that's as simple as that. You can make laws banning terrorism, but yet they still want to bomb you. You can have laws that stop rape, but yet rapists still want to rape. They should stop that, but they do. The same as murderers still murder, but yet that's against the law. People will say, oh, I'm conflating the issue. No, I'm proving a point. Criminals are criminals. They go against the law. Putting another law in place does not help or stop or hinder what's going to happen. All it means is they break another law. And at that point in time when they've decided to do this, they're not going to be bothered what laws they break. They're doing it for a particular reason. Same as murderers kill because of different reasons. Same as people will rape, mug, do whatever for different reasons. All these reasons are stupid and absolutely ludicrous. But they still have their reasons for it. I think that's the point. Whatever law you put in place, the criminals are always going to destroy that law. They're going to bypass it. They're going to absolutely just look at that law and scoff at it, so to speak. Making laws is not the way of dealing with this. You need to make sure that you deal with your mental health issues. You need to start talking about it. You need to be able to be open with it. It's not a taboo subject anymore. You have to be able to talk about it. You have to be open with it. And if you suspect somebody that has mental issues and might be forms of psychotic or split personality disorders or whatever, then teachers at schools, then police officers that go to a particular residence 36 times need to be able to make that call and say, well, maybe that kid needs a little bit of help. Maybe we need to book him part of the rehabilitation process, or actually compassionately say, well, no, this kid needs help. And maybe after doing things like that, this type of thing won't happen anymore. I don't know. I'm just one guy on the internet. I'm just trying to make sure what's going on and understanding what's here. But banning people from being able to defend themselves, it's not the way forward. That's not the way forward. So, with that, I'm going to bid you farewell. I'm going to bid you adieu. I'll see you all again real soon. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and thank you very much for subscribing to this channel. And again, I'll see you all really soon. Bye-bye for now.